Hi, this is Maginoni, and I got some comic reviews for you. We have Captain Marvel #1, AVX #8, and Uncanny 16. I'm going to do this one first. Let me just tell you this. If I had a gigantic bottle of, like, tequila, it might have helped to ease the pain of reading these books. Because these things some of these were really bad. They gave me headaches, and I hated myself for buying it. So let's take a look at what I mean. Let's start with Captain Marvel #1. First of all, this isn't Captain Marvel. This is Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel has done absolutely nothing to earn the right to call herself Captain, other than maybe she put enough time in, so this way she could finally get her, upgrade to Captain. Now, granted, she did. There were character developments because she was an alcoholic, and she's better now, and she's put that behind her. But let's be honest here. Come on, seriously, what has she done to deserve this? Nothing. Other than they knew Miss Marvel wouldn't sell as a title, so let's throw Captain Marvel, spanking brand new direction. Maybe people will buy it. Now, when I looked at the art was horrible. Now, it did appeal to me because, to me, what it said was, we don't want this to go the Power Girl big boob route, where people will just buy it because, she's got big boobs. But, and we're going to show them. But, so that part appealed to me, because that means they're trying to take this book a little bit more seriously. So, I go ahead and I'm reading this book, and I'm like, the art is just bad. Really, really bad. Now, some of the fight sequences at the beginning here were great. He has a really great sense of layout in terms of fighting. But other than that, it's just, it's just blah. Ugh, horrible. Now, basically, I mean, she doesn't even want to be called Captain Marvel. That should tell you something. Captain America is pushing her into this decision, and this is basically a really bad, safe version of passing the torch. It's basically what's happening is they knew the fans would not accept the fact that Miss Marvel is going to be called Captain Marvel. So what do? They throw Captain America, a superhero that people would respect and like, telling her to do it, so this way the fans would go, well, Cap said it's okay, so it must be okay then. No, it's not okay. This is, to me, all this reeks of is copyright protection. They brought back Captain Marvel not once, but twice, and killed him within an issue or two of his rebirth. And they made a complete mockery of the character. So I guess they figured, well, if we make her Captain Marvel, then we can maybe bury our mistakes of the past. That's what it looks like to me. Now, this is a very safe issue, no challenges whatsoever, and it's a gigantic disappointment. Very, very bad. I'm never buying. I mean, I can't say never, because obviously, some hot young artist, team writer is going to come on and completely change everything and make it a fantastic book. But as it stands now, it's utter garbage, worthless, and I hope it's canceled at issue 2. Alright, let's look at AVX 8 and Uncanny. Now, here's the other problem I have with these 3 titles. They're completely out of continuity in terms of when these things are coming out. Now, AVX happens... I'm sorry, Ms. Marvel happens last, because this looks like it takes place after AVX. So then you have AVX. And then, on top of that, then you have Uncanny X-Men number 16 happens before this, and you have Secret Avengers, which I've reviewed before, sometime after this. Now, see, that's just telling you how screwed up this thing is. They really should have saved Captain Marvel for Marvel Now. Not Marvel's going to change in a few months type thing. So, anyways, let's look at Uncanny. Now, not only is this thing out of continuity, it has a major, gigantic plot hole, which they screwed up on. And I'll explain that as we're going through this. Now, just to show that I'm not completely 100% negative on this book, there is some really cool things in here, I love the suicide bomber gambits. I love the cannonballs that come raining down. The Krakoa Island clone. I love how Magic uses her abilities to deal with some of the Gambit bombers. All of that was great, fantastic stuff. But this is where things start going horribly wrong. Namor gets beat. Then you have Emma getting beat. And then you have Magic and Colossus going, hey, you know what? Things aren't going our way, so let's just regroup, and they leave the battlefield. And then Cyclops. Now there's spoiler here. He gets beat. Now this is what I think is significant. Now, you have to remember the Phoenix Force 5 is the big superhero team. And oh, since you saw that, here's a code while I explain things. Now, with the Phoenix Force 5, they're supposed to be the greatest powerhouse of all time. But they get beat. They get beat by Sinister. And it's going to take the regular X-Men team here to save them. Now, this is what's significant. If you notice, you have 3 of the Phoenix Force 5 beaten, and nothing happens to them. Something significant happens in AVX that makes this stupid. Now, if this was my book to do, you know what I would have done? I would have proven to people how much of a badass the Phoenix Force 5 is. And I would have ended Sinister's reign of terror in this issue. Period. I would have wiped that smirk off of his face and completely decimated his forces, completely and utter and total rained death and doom on his castle, and killed him. I would have done a Wolverine thing, ripped his heart out, and ate it for lunch. That's what I would have done. Because we all know Sinister's going to be back anyway, so it's he's probably regenerating somewhere anyways as we speak. So I would have completely gone that route, showed that the Phoenix Force 5 is a little bit darker, more menacing, and they don't need help of regular X-Men to beat Sinister. All they've done in this issue here is made Sinister even more powerful than he is. That's all they did. And I am not buying the next issue. I don't care how many issues are left in Uncanny. This book is dead to me because it's complete and utter nonsense. I don't agree with it. I think that Gillen just basically was told, hey, you need so many more issues until Marvel now, so extend this battle. And that's what's going on here. And he never bothered to pay attention to what's happening in AVX. Because do you know what happens in AVX? Namor gets beat. And something happens at the end. So let's start with this. I think the art is great. The art is fantastic. The battle sequences are great. I like how, and this is being sarcastic, in one part of the city you have the Atlanteans and monsters fighting, and in another part of the city you have Namor and the Avengers fighting. Now, in this issue you have the Avengers being teleported to the land of Master of Kung Fu, which, is out of sequence because that's already happened. And what I really do think that they need, and I don't know why an editor didn't think of this, is we need something here that says, like in 24, in 24 says, this takes place between the hours of, this is what this needs. This issue takes place, bang. This issue takes place before the events of AVX. Secret Avengers, this takes place after AVX 8. That's what it needs, because as this looks right now, it looks like they couldn't pay attention to their release schedules. They shook things in a jar and just slammed the jar on the ground and let things fall where they were, and they started picking up the pieces then. That's what this thing looks like. Now, as I mentioned before, Namor gets beat. So what's significant here is when Namor gets beat, he has his portion of the Phoenix Force leave him, and it goes straight into the other Phoenixes. How come that didn't happen when Namor got beat here? How come that didn't happen when Emma got beat? Why didn't it happen when Scott got beat? Is this the best 2 out of 3? That if you get beat too many times, you know, then you lose your force? Or, I mean, I know somebody's probably going to say, well, geez, Majin only, you're really stupid because it obviously has something to do with the Scarlet Witch. No, I don't really think that has anything to do with the Scarlet Witch because it happens after the battle. You know, after he's beat. If it was the Scarlet Witch who did it, the power would have left sooner. And, you know, I think this is a major plot problem because this guy here didn't bother to read the notes. I think that this is, I mean, like I said, I really hate to say it because there were some great things here, like Namor breaking Red Hulk's arm. I love this page. Red Hulk is, I don't like the Red Hulk, so, you know, anytime this thing happens to him, I just get very happy. And it's just like, this is just a joke. I mean, I understand that this is a big, you know, complex series, but I think Marvel's made this thing too big, too complex. They can't keep track of what's going on. And you have too much nonsense issues. You know, you have Avengers Academy, when Emma coming down. Obviously now that takes place before 8. You know, you would like to assume that. And then, you know, it's like, it's just a mess. Too much stuff is going on, and not enough time is elapsing between these issues. And I hate this thing. Now, as you saw that I did give out the code here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give out the AVX code to somebody commenting in the one of the comments below. And also, I'm going to be giving away codes and stuff if you like the Facebook page link down below. I'll have codes every now and then. I'm going to drop them in, and you will see a code for this in the Facebook link. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys think, if you think like me and think that this is getting a little out of control, or are you just so wrapped up into the hero versus hero thing that you don't care because you're just having a great time and because it's Avengers versus X-Men. I'm really curious to know what you guys are thinking now that we're almost done. Anyways, I'll have more reviews and whatnot later. So until next time.